Hey everyone, it's Jeff Fisher of High School Football America in the NFL Play Football studio, and we are ready for the Super Bowl. And I know who else is ready for the Super Bowl, the guy in the other box here, Coach Jaime Ortiz, the head coach at San Clemente High School, better known as the alma mater of Sam Darnold, the Seattle Seahawks quarterback. And Coach, I'm not even going to give you any fluff here. What's it like? How pumped up is the town for Sam?
It's it's a lot of Seahawk fans now in town, and I think they're just so proud of Sam and what he's done this past year. And there's definitely a lot of watch parties here in town, and there's a lot of people that didn't know much about the Seahawks before, but now wearing the colors, and they're excited for Sam and his family and an opportunity to compete next Sunday.
I have no doubt that that place is going to be buzzing leading up, and especially on that day. But let's help the people around the country get to know Sam a little bit better. You and I have talked about him multiple times, so some of this will probably be a rehash. But one of the things that all of the experts, all the broadcasters have been saying throughout this year is his athleticism and all that. Now, I happen to know that because I was there when he was in high school and I saw him play basketball once or twice. Talk to the fans around the nation about how good of an athlete Sam Darnold really is.
Right. I mean, it goes back to as a youth, he was always the best player on the court, best player on the baseball field, best player on the football field. And as a freshman, he played three sports, played football, basketball, and baseball. My time in sophomore year, he narrowed down to football and basketball. And actually, basketball was his first love. Coming into high school, and then he got a little more publicity playing football and got some love from colleges, and made that decision to kind of make that his primary sport, basketball being second. But I think he could have got some offers in basketball as well. As a sophomore, he's a league MVP in basketball, and as a senior, he was league MVP in basketball and football, and he was the Orange County Athlete of the Year. A very competitive, group of athletes out here in California, especially in Southern California, and for him to get that shows kind of what athlete he was, and he was also preached playing multiple sports, have fun, and enjoy the high school experience.
And a lot of people do not know this. I mean, Sam is obviously at the top of the pyramid, but you've had a lot of success. We talked about maybe quarterback U or quarterback HS, I guess, that you've had there. Talk to the people around the country. It's not just Sam. You've had some other good guys that have gone on to play at the college level of the Power Five or Four or whatever we're calling it right now.
Yeah, no, it's funny. We had talked about the other day. Our offense coordinator name's Troy Cobb. He's had three Elite 11 quarterbacks in our program. Since I've been here at San Clemente High School, we've had over 10 D1 quarterbacks, ranging from Jack Sears, who won a state championship, went to USC. Brendan Casella went to Oklahoma State. Nick Billups went to Utah. Travis Wilson was a four-year starter at University of Utah. Cole Berquist, Montana. Mike Cook, Harvard. And Sam is right there going to USC. And so we've been pretty blessed to have a bunch of guys come through our program, ranging from Texas State with Duke Dancelotti to Sam and Jack at USC.
It's been an amazing run you guys have had there. And, one of the things that you've also talked about, and I just put up his video that I did coming out of the Elite 11 back in the day, that interview is A, humble. And B, I don't think he's ever lost his roots. Now, I haven't seen him in 10 years, but you have seen him. Talk a little bit about the kid that you knew, the man now, and his love for your community.
Right. I think he's consistent. He lives here locally in the off season. So he comes here and trains at the high school, a couple other players. And I think he does give back. He comes back to and talks to our middle school kids and talk to our high school kids. And, I think, don't forget where you came from. And I think with Sam, during his time at USC, during his time, in the NFL, he's done a great job representing our school, our program, our community. And, he's very humble, as you've seen. There's one clip, his fiance and him after the game was over, and she said, "You did this." And he said, "No, we did this," and I think that's important that with Sam, it's, as a, franchise quarterback and the face of the program, it's when the team does well, it's what the team did well. And when the team does bad, it's what he can do better. And I think that's something that's carried him through his time here at San Clemente High School, at USC, and also in the NFL.
What are some of your thoughts the first time you saw him? I mean, you're pretty much a lifer there, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Were you born and raised in San Clemente? I can't
I
remember.
was born in Missionville, right up the road, but I've
Okay.
been here for going on 26 years now.
Yeah,
So
so you're a lifer. You're a lifer.
yeah, it's
But
pretty long.
can you dial your memory back and remember what you saw when he was a young kid? I've seen some neat pictures you put up on your social media and all that.
Right.
What thoughts about the young Sam kid, other than he was the best on the field or on the court?
He was a competitor. Funny, his parents told me a story one time. He was playing, soccer at a young age, and he's out there pushing kids around and getting the soccer ball. It wasn't beehive to him. He was going to go and score, and they kept on calling fouls on him. And he kind of says, "Dad, I'm over soccer." He's too physical for that game. But going up through being on the youth camps, whether it's a soccer youth camp, basketball youth camp, football youth camp, I had the privilege. I student taught for his mom back when Sam was about
Wow.
7 years old. And so that's when I kind of got to know Sam and coming up through our program and being part of our youth organization with Pop Warner and also with basketball NJB. He was always a quiet kid. He wasn't very vocal, but he let us play do the talking. That's the same way he is now.
What are some of the things that have impressed you about his development through the NFL? I mean, he comes in as a number three overall, right? And there have been struggles. He's talked about those struggles, has been written about, talked about, and all that. But where have you seen, as a guy that knows him a little bit better than, just some John Q media that's interviewing him, where have you seen him grow the most and absorb the whatever you get out of the media and all that, and then grow into the quarterback that's now going to play in the Super Bowl?
I think, for Sam's being resilient. I think when he got drafted by the Jets, the very early discussion was he's going to back up, kind of take his time and learn. And by August, he was named a starter. And through his time into the Jets in Carolina, there's a lot of coaching change, a lot of turnover, players and coaches, and it just wasn't a great situation for him. And he'll be the first one to tell you that I didn't do a good enough job. We didn't win enough games. And that, again, taking it upon himself. And I think for me, when he went to San Francisco, I think that was a big thing in his trajectory where he had an opportunity to sit back. Probably the only second time in his entire career where he wasn't the starter, wasn't the main guy. And he got to be part of a franchise with Kyle Shanahan, with John Lynch, and the tradition of San Francisco and Brock Purdy. And I think he kind of learned a little bit more about the game and what it took and how to prepare. And that propelled him during his time at Minnesota and also right now with Seattle.
Now, before I rolled the tape, I asked if you're going to the game. You said no. I've got three kids. They're big Sam Darnold fans. What's it going to be like for your family doing your little watch party there, or maybe you're going to have a bunch of people there with you to watch Sam play in the Super Bowl?
For me, I like it when it's quiet. I'm not big on watching around a bunch of different people. They're giving their 2 cents. It'd be like, having a Twitter party, or X as it's called now. My kids grew up watching Sam and had an opportunity to spend time with him, and they're excited about it, just like everybody else here in San Clemente. And it's going to be a great game. A week from Sunday, and Sam's accomplished a lot so far this year. But I know for him, this is the next step in his journey. Going through and starting off, 2 years ago, when he was at Minnesota, they had to get the number one seed and lost to Detroit. This year, they were able to beat San Francisco, get that number one seed. Then win that first playoff game. They had a rough go against the Rams and got sacked 9 times, and this time they beat the Rams. And so now, next step of his journey is win that Super Bowl. 2 years ago, he was there with the 49ers as a backup and got to experience all that. And to me, that's the thing that, that's the next item on his list. And I think for Sam, he wants to do it personally, but more so for his teammates, guys in the locker room, and his coaches as well.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I don't want to put any media jinx on him here. I cannot even imagine what your town's going to be like if Sam gets to hoist the trophy coming up on the 8th. That's got to be insane, probably, to even think about.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to recognize what he did for our school and our community. And here's a guy who's done everything and then some. He still comes back and supports our kids and our program. And there's been talk about if and when that opportunity comes, there might be a parade, which he probably wouldn't want to do because that's not his nature. But I think that the city would want to celebrate him, but he's got to get through the Patriots first.